The following is a production of CPRundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the hosts of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Karsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Huth.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast where we cover Cedar Fair, Cedar Point, and everything to do with fun.
So, another late
I'm
night
back.
recording, but Evan's back this week.
I'm back.
Back.
Very tired. I'm very tired, but I'm back.
Yeah,
think
the
we're
audio, I was
tired.
going to say, just a disclaimer, the audio might sound a little funky. We're still in the process of getting Kyle moved down into Florida. So just bear with us.
Yeah, I have the podcast suite is not fully functional yet, so this episode might be a little choppy.
Yeah,
All
know,
right,
and
we're just catching up this week.
yeah, we're just trying to do a catch up episode. And then on Friday, we'll hopefully be ground running. So
Yeah, so Evan was gone for 2 weeks, and we had Dean fill in for you, and he did great. But we're happy to have you back.
yes,
did.
definitely.
I was afraid you were going to replace me. I really liked listening to Dean on the podcast. Shout out to Dean.
I mean, Dean was really good. If he ever wants to come on down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just go to his room and pound on his door until he records with us.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
So, Evan, how many parks did you go to in Poland?
So there's only 2 parks in Poland. Well,
Okay.
there's 2 parks, and then there's like a crap ton of little like alpine coaster places, but they were all like not in the area of Poland that we were at. But there's 2 amusement parks. Energylandia, which I'm sure anybody that is a coaster dork that listens to our podcast, you've heard of Energylandia. They call it the Cedar Point of Poland. Honestly, probably the Cedar Point of Europe in general. Then we also went to a smaller, much smaller park named Legendia that, if you're a coaster dork, you've probably heard of Lech Coaster. That's their big name coaster. And yeah, that's all we really did theme park wise. But
So I guess I'm not a big coaster dork because I haven't really heard a lot of those parks. I mean, I know a lot of the parks in the United States. Just not overseas. I mean, maybe I need to.
you're getting your coaster enthusiast card taken away. Hey Ace, you want to come get this guy?
Ace, Coaster Crew, a Great Ohio Coaster Club. I've got all those clubs. So yeah. Right.
Anyways, but yeah, so that's
Well, if
we
you
went to
just
those 2.
If you want to mail your Coaster Crew membership back to Florida, either me or Tim will take care of it.
Oh, perfect. There we go.
and hand it over to me because I am not a coaster crew member.
There we go.
I was at Hollywood Studios today, and I saw somebody wearing an Ace T-shirt.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't normally
Yeah.
see enthusiasts out here.
Wow. Have you seen?
And if you do, they're at like Busch Gardens.
Have you spotted anything for Cedar Point down there? Like any shirts or anything?
I have not, but I went to City Walk the other night in one of my Homage Cedar Point T-shirts, and I went to the bathroom, and on my way there, one of the bus boys was like, "Oh, I love Cedar Point. It's such a cool place."
Love it.
That's good stuff.
I always feel like we have so much like swag in the amusement park industry when we go to a different park and we're wearing our Cedar Point shirts. Everybody's just like, "Whoa!" It's like, yeah, that's my home park. I'm cool.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
I wore a Kennywood shirt today to Hollywood Studios, and a couple of different people commented on it. One guy asked where it was, and then another older gentleman who worked in the gift shop was super nice, but he confused Kennywood with Dollywood. He's like,
Oh no.
he's like,
Kennywood, Dollywood. Yeah, okay.
yeah, he's like, I love that park. She's super nice. She used to have a show here at Dixie Stampede. I wish it was still there. And I was like,
Aw,
oh yeah, I've heard she's really nice. Like just being friendly.
that's too funny.
So not to hijack Poland here, but
Yeah.
how were the parks? Like, are they?
So
I've only been to one park, or I mean, technically 2 if you count Canada's Wonderland, but
right.
the only park I've been to like really outside of the country is Port Aventura.
I've
Oh, I
been to
didn't
like
even know you've been there.
Tivoli or somewhere around in the Tivoli area.
Tivoli Gardens, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, tell us all about it.
So, oh my God. Let me start with Legendia first, because that was the smaller park.
Yeah.
To us locals up here in Ohio, I liken it to if you took Jogga Lake in like the 70s and then just plopped down like this like super new age coaster with it in
Oh,
Wet
cool.
Coaster. It was a very strange park, and I think it was probably more standard to European, like standard European parks, at least of the smaller variety that Energylandia was. The park is a giant oval, and it goes around a lake, so hence the Jogga Lake comparison.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
And and they have a few flat rides, some carnival rides. They have a super like incredibly good shooting dark ride. Boo Blasters at Kings Island on like ultra steroids. If you go to Six Flags parks and have ridden Justice League, it's kind of a similar system where you're shooting at a screen, but they also incorporate real targets, like physical targets too. It was so good. I don't even know what the name of it was. It was all in Polish. I don't even know what the theme was, but the system worked great. It was awesome. And it was kind of a weird park like that, where some of it seemed like old and almost run down. Like we rode like a knockoff Schwarzkopf looping coaster that I really thought was going to kill us, but it wound up being a decent ride. It was called Devil's Loop too, so but so you had that kind of atmosphere. But then the back of the park, you have Lek Coaster, which is I'll get into it more, but it's their new coaster. It's phenomenal. They have a really nice new rapids ride. They have a really solid log flume that seems newer. And then they also have like next to that, they have like the old silver rocket ships, which was super cool to finally ride one of those. Like, because my grandparents grew up on that type of ride. But I'll talk about Lek Coaster in specific. So if you've been paying attention to what Vekoma has been doing lately, over here in the States, we only know them for like their boomerangs and the garbage SLCs with like the gaudy over the shoulder harnesses that just beat the ever living crap out of you.
Yeah.
Well, in the last, I don't know, Lek Coaster was built in 2017. So we'll say, I'm sure they built some before that, some newer ones. So we'll say in the last 10 years, they have been they completely reimagined themselves. And one of their reimagined or one of their new age coasters is Lek Coaster. I don't even know what it's themed to. It seems like kind of like it's going through like a village. It's kind of run down or whatever. If I could compare it to a ride at Cedar Point, think Maverick, but with just like a lift hill. But it's the inversion, this quick, snappy inversions, the stupidly good airtime. It has an awesome station flyby that is actually a 0G roll through the station, but it's hauling when it goes through there. God, I wish I could show the listeners pictures of it. Me talking doesn't do it justice. It was absolutely a phenomenal ride. The stats don't do it justice. It's like 120 feet, maybe like 60 miles an hour. But it is a bonkers ride. And Maya, granted, she doesn't have a very high coaster count, but my girlfriend Maya, she has a new number one. And it is Lek Coaster. It was that good.
So wait, what was her number one before this? Before that?
Maverick. So
okay, because you were it was kind of like Maverick, but just having the the long up the hill.
And it was okay. So we talk about Vekoma being like crappy here. This is the most butter smooth ride I've ever ridden in my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so good.
And you said this is an older one or a newer one?
This was built in 2017.
Okay.
So this was part of their like new age of Vekoma coasters.
Interesting.
I'm harping on Lek Coaster, but it was that good.
I mean,
it's not my number one. Go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, I was gonna say I can attest to how smooth Vekomas are because I went on a new Vekoma this week too that I'll get into later.
How'd you ride? I'm trying to think of what you
Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's Vekoma?
Vekoma does all of Disney's coasters because they're the only manufacturer that will let Disney design the cars.
That's right. Okay. Well, cool. I'm very excited to hear about Guardians.
Because
really.
No idea. Wow.
Okay. I thought Guardians was built in-house. Anyways, we'll get into that. I'm very excited to hear about Guardians.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not my number one coaster. But I definitely didn't like roll my eyes at her changing her number one to that coaster because it was that good. So that's pretty much Legendia. Totally worth. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get there, especially if you don't have a rental car, just because public transportation, you got to take a train to the city and then a bus and walk and blah 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 blah. But
That's one of the
worth
things we
it.
take for granted in the
Yeah.
States is that.
But if you find yourself in Poland for Energylandia, make the extra trip and go to Legendia because oh my god.
Cool.
So then Energylandia, I don't even know where to start with that place. The comparisons to Cedar Point of Europe is or Poland or whatever you want to say is absolutely true. They celebrated their 8th anniversary this last week, 8th anniversary.
Wow,
And they are in the process of building their 20th roller coaster.
Wow.
God.
Yes. So they only have 17 operating right now. They're building a new area that's going to include 3 new coasters. The thing is, though, they kind of run into they're kind of more quantity over quality type of place. They have a lot of family to junior coasters, and then only like, I'll say 5 like major coasters. And they've kind of been Vecoma's proving ground as well as far as their new coasters. They have.
So are you saying that they're like spinning like a ton of spinning mouse coasters, or
So they have 2 different models of our Woodstock Express here at Cedar Point. One is an exact clone, and then one's a slightly smaller model.
okay,
But they're new builds, and they have like new Vekoma trains on them, and they're super comfy and they're super smooth and kind of fun.
Or is it like the coaster down that just got it's like in that new kid area at Dollywood? I can't remember what it's called.
Yes.
Okay. Dragon Flyer.
That's that. I'm sorry if anybody's going to Dollywood.
That's
ever
a great
ride. That ride. I know it's a kiddie ride, but I love that tunnel. It goes.
It's great. Do you know who made that? I'm looking it up on our RCD.
I don't know.
I think it was Vekoma, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I'm looking it up because they have a ride at Energylandia named Dragon that is a clone of that Dollywood coaster. So I haven't ridden the Dollywood one yet, but I have ridden Dragon at Energylandia, and yes, it is made by Vekoma.
Yeah,
fantastic.
The dive
ride.
into the
it's
tunnel.
It's a good ride.
Yeah,
it's you look at it and you're like, that's a family coaster. It's like it's not much bigger than like Flying Ace Aerial Chase at Kings Island, but it is such a good ride.
Yeah,
it was so fun. We got the front seat. It's awesome and theming like crazy, just like a Dollywood.
Love it.
But yeah, so they have a lot of like that level. They have a couple of the like Vekoma family boomerangs. One of them was like totally over the water, which was like actually super fun. And another one was just named Boomerang, but it was themed to like vampires and stuff. So on the like return, like you go up the return spike and it's like in like this creepy clock tower thing. That was kind of the theme of Energylandia. It was everything. Even like kitty coasters were themed like crazy.
Now is that park, is it huge? I know like Cedar
It's
Point
massive.
Like 304 acres, but
yeah, actually we looked it up. It's only 86 acres, but it feels so much bigger than that. So I don't know if that's not entirely accurate or if it's maybe an old measurement or something, because they've rapidly expanded.
And like coasters on top aren't on top of each other, are they?
Not really. No. The midways themselves, especially in like the main part of the park before you kind of branch off to some separate themed areas, are very, Cedar Point, Kings Island, whatever, are very, you go one way or you go the other way. Where there's like, I was there 2 full days. And I don't think I walked on every single midway there. Like there's so much convolution, which was kind of a little tough to get used to, especially when the first ride we went to was their RMC Zadra, all the way in the back of the park. And I had never been there. Maya was only there once last year. She wasn't really a coaster enthusiast at that point yet. So she really didn't, it might as well have been her first time there too.
Right.
So we got like totally lost.
I'm watching a POV of Zadra right now. Is this park just like in the middle of a cornfield?
Yes.
Okay, because that's what it looks like.
So it gives you like Holiday World vibes ish.
Yeah, totally. When we were riding the bus there for our first day there, it literally, we were out in the distance like miles away, and you could see Hyperion, their their other big coaster, and Zadra, their RMC, was like taking over the skyline way out in the distance, like miles. I'm talking about. So yeah, their big thing is they're just putting coasters in like crazy, but they're so well themed, and the ride operations were some of if not the best I've ever seen. Like these crews, I felt totally safe. The rides themselves were totally safe, and the riders should feel totally safe. But these ride operators gave not a single shit about themselves. They were dispatching trains when like they were literally an inch away from the train. They would like check the last seat. Okay, all clear, go. They wouldn't even do an all clear though. Like they would just kind of be like, oh, everything good. Okay, all clear. Dispatch. You know, it was really funny. We were on they have a new SLC, suspended loop coaster, Vekoma's crappy model that they have here, much better over there because it's a new build. We're dispatching, and one of the ride operators is literally like probably 2 inches away from the train, walking along the train as it dispatches, which was super funny and kind of like, whoa. But
that reminds me when I went to Kennywood a few years ago, and I was in line for the racer, and the dude in the back cleared for dispatch and then jumped on the back of the train and rode it all the way up to the front.
Yeah, literally same vibes. We saw that one of their coasters, Abyss, has the same unload load situation as Millennium does, where you unload in one spot, then the empty train pulls forward. He literally rode the train from unload to load. We're like, oh my God.
That would never ever happen at Cedar Point.
No.
Or in the States, really, for that matter.
At any corporate park, absolutely not. The only place I could see that happening is apparently Kennywood and Timbals. Like
the family.
So trying to get into their bigger coasters. So obviously, so Kyle, you said you were watching Zadra's POV. That's their big RMC. The talk going into my trip was, is it going to be better than Steel Vengeance? For me and for Maya, no. But this ride is, if somebody said it was their number one, if somebody said it would beat Steel Vengeance, and if you remember from like the beginning of our podcast episodes, I think it was episode 2, I said Steel Vengeance is my number one, end all be all. If somebody said I like Zadra better than Steel Vengeance, I would be like, I don't blame you. Like it totally would hear an argument for it. It is
wait till you ride Velocicoaster at night, and then
oh my God, I'll get into that later.
Oh yeah, you got to give us an update, and because I don't know if that's your number one or not. You haven't said that, so
I'll have to wait for the update.
Ooh,
yeah, I got it. You guys have to deal with me droning on about Argentindia.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Keep going.
Yeah.
So Zadra's big thing to me was it has a couple moments where it's like super low to the ground, which I haven't really dealt with on an RMC. Like it has a couple really cool S turns, like right along the ground, kind of like Maverick. It was freaking unbelievable. And then again, the theming.
I haven't seen the POV. Is there stalls?
Yes. So you've ridden Goliath at Six Flags Great America, right?
Oh yeah.
Same maneuver as Goliath does under the lift hill.
Okay.
I liken Goliath to be like baby Zadra.
Okay.
Yes, and Goliath's kind of a big ride. It's baby Zadra.
Interesting.
Oh my God. And again, glass smooth, it was awesome.
Were the same kind of, was it like the same kind of trains?
Yep, same trains.
Vengeance, or
same trains as every other RMC we've all ridden. Yep.
With like the funky shin restraints and
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and same deal over there, just like at Steel Vengeance, where you can't put your lap bar down, they do it for you.
Wow.
So then next, I'm thinking kind of in that same area of the park, there is Abyss, which is I'll say it's Vekoma's take on Velocicoaster. It's kind of that same style where it has a launch and kind of does a few little things, and then it launches and it really gets into the ride. It's probably not as good as Velocicoaster. I haven't been on Velocicoaster. It's probably not as good as that, but it was a great ride. Again, new Vekoma. This ride opened about a year ago, I think July of last year. It's themed to Atlantis. It's super smooth. It's got some great airtime in certain spots. It's also got some really nice snappy inversions. It's kind of the launched version of Let Coaster, but I don't know. I just like Let Coaster better. But Abyss was super, super good.
Cool.
And then there are 2 other like big coasters. Speed, which is actually a water coaster. And I don't know if any of you listening or you guys remember Pilgrim's Plunge / Giraffica at Holiday World.
Yes.
It was,
I remember it, but I never did it.
neither did I. So for those that don't know, it has a boat or a train like Shoot the Rapids did, right? The
Yeah.
little like 5-row boat. You go through a little trough and you reach this, it looks like 2 legs like standing high in the air.
Yeah.
And it's a little elevator that your boat pulls up on, and the elevator takes you straight up, and it kind of rocks a little bit to the side, and then you go down a giant drop. That's where Pilgrim's Plunge stopped. You just went down the drop and it splashed. Well, this has a full coaster section too.
Oh.
Not so it goes down the drop, it does some twists and turns, and then you splash down. Super fun, super freaky going up a straight up elevator at like 160 feet. And
And in a
because there's
different country too.
yeah, that didn't bother me as much as probably some people. I don't know. I check my own restraint, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking at
and
pictures of this thing, and those boats do look exactly like Shoot the Rapids.
they're the same restraints.
Are
The
they?
only difference was Shoot the Rapids was one rigid boat. This had like a little break in between rows 2 and 3 to make it kind of 2 cars,
Yeah, I can see that.
so that it could bend through the twisty and turns of the actual coaster. But other than that, same exact boats as Shoot the Rapids. But yeah, going up that lift, there's 2 elevators, and they have to go like up, one's on the ground and one's on the top. So they had to like make room for them to pass each other and still end in the same spot. So you kind of bend like awkwardly out, like you're gonna like fall off the side, and then you have to bend back awkwardly in when you're going. It was super freaky. But yeah, that was super awesome. That was also the only ride that I dealt with breaking down the entire time I was there over 2 days, and it was made by Intamin. Surprise, surprise.
That's pretty good though. 2 days.
Yeah.
Only 1 downtime.
And I mean, and you guys know me, I'm very observant when I'm at parks. So I would have noticed if one of their coasters just wasn't running for a while. Didn't notice it was.
Yeah.
Then their last coaster I'll touch on is Hyperion. This is another Intamin coaster themed to like outer space, something, I don't know. Very, very tough to pick up on like specifics of theme with the language barrier. Although everything was in Polish and then also English, but the translations even into English, especially with a themed ride, were a little loose. But anyways, so I can't compare it to anything at Cedar Point really. It's a 280-foot drop, I think, maybe 260, 280, something like that. If you've ridden Skyrush at Hershey Park, it's got the same style trains, except they have a floor. Your feet aren't completely dangling. And if you've ridden El Toro, which Karsten, I found out to my surprise today that you haven't ridden El Toro.
Not yet.
Not yet. They'll change in a couple days.
Hopefully.
It's literally the steel version of El Toro.
That's El Toro's like in my top 5. So
you would like Hyperion a lot. So you got the first big drop, and then you have an absolutely bonkers ejector airtime hill, and then the turnaround, it's actually a dive loop, which is super cool with those just lap bar restraints. And then it's got a couple of overbanks, some again low to the ground, really like sense of speed turns, but then a couple more awesome pops of air. It was a really, really good ride.
looks like
not
a
my
little
favorite.
tunnel too.
Yeah, underground tunnel. And it kind of has like a faux splashdown. You can you hit right before the end of the ride, you go towards a pond, and they just have like timed fountains that go.
That's
it's
cool.
not like Diamondback where it's actually a brake run. Not my favorite there. Definitely would give it to Zadra, but it was an awesome ride. Like, so between, like I said, the park is definitely quantity over quality, I think, because so I talked about 5 coasters,
Yeah.
and there's one more adult coaster that's kind of a smaller launching coaster, also made by Vekoma. Other than that, it's just a lot of family coasters and some kind of basically carnival rides. Like, they don't have a ton of thrill rides that aren't roller coasters that are like, you don't have Power Tower, you don't have Drop Tower, you don't have they have like a smaller Max Air that looks like it was a carnival ride made permanent, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they made up for it in theming. Like, even their Snake River Falls ride was just themed like crazy, and actually had 2 hills too for whatever reason. Um, it
Okay,
was
now I just watched the POV. What the hell is the point of that little like fake splashdown?
visual, I guess, but it's not that splashdown's like not even in the park. Like if you notice, Hyperion's kind of a parking lot coaster.
Yeah, I'm looking
And that
at it.
splashdown is like it's in the parking lot a little bit and like at the far end of the park entrance. So like nobody can really see it.
It looks like they just set up like a kiddie pool.
Yeah, pretty much. But it looks cool when you're on the ride, I guess. The first night I was there, it wasn't working because it was kind of cooler out, and I guess it could get you wet. And then the second day I was there, it was super hot out, but I only rode Hyperion once and I was in the front seat. So I didn't really get the full effect of if I'm in the back seat seeing that little fountain thing and if it gets you wet or not.
It looks like a cool coaster though.
Oh my God, it was cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know, would it be against our CP rundown policy to post a couple pictures of their coasters?
I mean,
Because like I feel like people need to see this ride. If not, if we decide not to post it on CP rundown, look these rides up. Like they're beautiful. Hyperion is one of the most beautiful coasters I've ever seen.
yeah, definitely
like-
look it up for sure. And go to Energylandia's website. Their website's really good with like pictures and POV. And
Yes, and you can translate it to English. They actually have an English option.
yeah.
So aside from that, some of the things that kind of struck me about that park too, the food, first off, I mean, I'm partial to Polish food because my girlfriend's 100% Polish and I've grown up eating pierogies. Those are the best pierogies I've ever eaten. Best theme park food, period. And then like I touched on their ride operations, but then the 2 things that really make Energylandia stand out to me. So first off, all of their rides, they kind of have like an automated grouper, which if you don't know what a grouper is, that's a person that when you get to the ride station, they're like, okay, how many's in your group? Okay, go to these rows. So what Energylandia does at the entrance to every single one of their stations on every single one of the rides, there's a little turnstile and there'll be like a little like deli counter, like number thing above it. And if the coaster train fits 20 people, it'll display 20. And 20 people will be allowed to go through that turnstile before it locks. And it's kind of like, okay, you either go in and you get on this train or you're going to be stupid and you're going to wait and we're going to yell at you. So, and that made the lines, if there was any, move super duper quick.
Yeah.
And people were really cool about, oh, we have a group of 4, but the counter only says 2. Okay, is there anybody with a group of 2 behind us? It worked so well. We were able to get the front seat on Hyperion twice using that and skipping like a 20-minute line because there'd be a group of 2 and then a bunch of groups of 4 and then they'd be able to find a group of 2 for us. And then the other thing is their locker system. Cedar Point thinks what they got going on with Steel Vengeance is flawless. It's not. It's terrible compared to this. I don't want to brag on Cedar Point, but oh my God. So what you do is you pay 12 Polish dollars, which translates to like $3 US, if that. You get a wristband. And at every single ride, they have the entrance and exit set up so that before you go into the station, you pass these lockers. And as you're exiting, you have to pass the lockers again, but on the other side, kind of like Steel Vengeance. But it's set up so that you have to walk that way instead of kind of go out of your way. And the lockers are super big. They're super spacious. You could fit a bag, probably 2 bags in there, or a full-size book bag. And you don't have to take they let you bring like on their RMC, you're allowed to put stuff in your pocket, but they make it so easy to just not. And it's so like nice to ride without stuff in your pockets to the point where I was like, I don't really need to wear cargo shorts here. And I could just bring like a string pack and just put these in the locker and feel comfortable with it. It worked out so perfectly. You scan your little wristband, locker opens, then you get off, scan your wristband again, same locker opens, take your stuff and leave. It was seamless. It was perfect. And they had that on pretty much every major ride.
That's pretty cool.
That was,
Yeah, that does sound really nice, actually.
it was like that. I can't think of another park that does that. I don't know if you guys can.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, because you haven't been on Velocicoaster, but that also does
Okay.
that.
Okay. So you kind of know what I'm talking about with this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they, like I said, they do it on just about every single one of the rides. And if you don't want to put your stuff in the locker, they do have like little shelves in the station, but like just pay the $12 and do it. Like, because it
Especially if
made
you're from
it,
the States, because that conversion rate is crazy right now.
when I was there, it was like five or not five, I'm sorry, it was like 4.7 something per Polish dollars per $1 US.
Jeez.
So yeah, I was living large over there.
Yeah, you were like the 1%.
Yeah, I really was. And I didn't bring a ton of money over there either.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah, I
So
don't know.
how was the rest of the park? Like, was there like cool merchandise and like cool shows or anything like that? Or did you not do that?
So we didn't really do any of the live entertainment, although the Saturday we were there, they had basically their version of CP nights going on. They called it Magic Nights. And they
Okay.
leave the water park open and the amusement park open till 11 o'clock,
Ooh.
which was like surprising. I don't know. I just had this thought in my head that European parks would be closing at like 6 o'clock every night, just because
Yeah.
it's kind of a different style of life over there.
Yeah.
So they're open till 11, including the water park. And they kind of just had like a big, kind of like what Dean did on the beach at Cedar Point, but it was in the water park. It was just, big, basically rave in the water park. They ended the night with fireworks, stuff like that. So that was cool. That's really all. We didn't really even go over there much. Like we saw it going while we were on rides. And then the fireworks were like pretty solid too.
That's cool.
What was the first half of your question, Kyle? Because I answered the second.
Merchandise.
Oh, merchandise. Yeah, they had some pretty solid stuff. We talked about the buttons on the show. They don't have any buttons there.
Did you get a shirt?
I didn't get a shirt. They had plenty of shirts for their coasters, but none of it was really my style much.
Was it all
they had
like, was it in English or was it Polish?
I don't really know, because like they were like anything that showed like the ride names are just the ride names. So the
Right.
ride is Hyperion Polish? I don't know. Zadra is Polish. It means splinter, which is super. I think that's a
But
super
like, did
cool
it
name
show
for an
like,
RMC.
like Cedar Point shirts? They're like, they show stats and
Yeah, they had shirts that showed like the ride name and then the stats. Honestly,
I got to ride this or I conquered this and
I can't honestly remember if the ride stat t-shirts like showed in English or Polish or not. But what I did get was a nice like crew neck sweatshirt that just on the front, it was just on the front, it has like a little Energylandia like skyline, and it says Coasterholic, and then on the back of it, it has every one of their major coasters and kind of like it almost looks like you're looking at a nano coaster or something.
That's cool.
All on the back. You'll see it when it gets cooler out. I don't know. They had plenty of merchandise though. Like if you're a shopper, we definitely know two very heavy shoppers, not to throw them under the bus, but
Right.
they spend plenty of money there.
Mhm.
And again, the food was just, oh my God.
I love it.
There's people talk about Busch Gardens having the best theme park food or Dollywood.
Yeah.
No, wrong answer. It's Energylandia.
So do you think Energylandia is going to be every time I'm in Poland, I'm going, or was it like a
Yes.
one and done?
No, every time I'm there, especially because they're about to open a resort hotel in the next couple of years. And I mean, like I said, they're going to have 20 coasters here by the end of the year operating. So, and they've only been open for 8 years. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's
5
really
years
cool.
from 5 years from now, they might have 30 coasters for all I know. They sure as hell got the land for it. So yeah, it's definitely every time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was a really, really cool place. And I could go on for hours about this park. Like there's so many cool little things about it. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, thanks for the trip update. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. My with Hyperion, Let Coaster, and Zadra, my top 10 is definitely getting shaken up quite a bit here because of those rides.
Do you know how many credits you added?
I added 15 between Legendia
Good
and
God.
Energylandia. Yeah, I'm up to 368.
Nerd.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Can't do that in the States anymore.
Yeah.
No, it is so weird having like a full credit run.
That's awesome.
Oh, really quick, I also did ride my new least favorite coaster at Energylandia. It was a spinning wild mouse named Viking, which, okay, spinning wild mice are not good rides, but whatever, they're tolerable. But this one had shoulder harnesses,
Oh,
gaudy,
bro.
like Raptor or Rougarou style shoulder harnesses.
Oh,
It
God.
was the worst ride I've ever ridden. We were making a lot of noise, yelling in pain, and by the time we got back to the brake run, the ride uppers were laughing at us. And it's like the park was packed, like to the brim, and this
You guys
ride
are just
had,
getting old farts.
yeah, pretty much. But like the park was packed to the brim, and this ride had no weight. Like we were the only ones on it. So like that tells you what you need to know.
Yeah, right. That's funny.
So, anyways, if you go to Energylandia, ride everything but Viking. Do not. It's not worth the credit.
Get it for the
It's
credit.
not.
Get it
No,
for the
it's
credit.
not even worth it. It's
it for the
terrible.
credit.
It sucked. So yeah. But other than that, the park was great.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of that, and I guess I don't understand why those are necessary. Does it go upside down or anything?
No, it's actually even smaller than a typical spinning mouse. It has less zigzags. I don't know. It's just so bad.
Very
That's
interesting.
It's so
interesting.
bad.
All right,
Oh
Kyle,
my God.
we're all dying to know.
All right.
All dying to know.
Wait, what?
We're all
your
dying to
turn.
know. We want to know what you thought of Velocicoaster.
Okay.
At
so
least I'm dying to know. Maybe no one else cares, but
I have been.
Yeah, I actually have an appointment. I gotta
I've
get
been
back on
no
a plane.
stranger to Velocicoaster since it opened. I've done it a lot, and I always thought it was really good, but it was a little rattly, and I've never had like the holy shit ride on it. I had the holy shit ride on it last night. It was so good.
You guys can't see this, but Carson is pumping his fists like no tomorrow.
yes.
Um,
Too bad we're not live streaming because you guys can see my excitement. Yes.
we rode in row 7. Also, by the way, we got in line for the ride at like 9:45. Park closed at 10. We got up to the platform, and by the time we got back to the station, the people getting on our train was last train of the night. They cleared the entire extended queue over to the Potter Bridge in like 25 minutes.
Wow.
Holy
Like
crap.
they were
move,
falling.
they move trains very fast there.
We rode in row 7, was less rattly. And yeah, I mean, it's fucking awesome. I don't know. I don't know.
Ooh,
if I can-
we put a language disclaimer at the beginning of
Yeah.
this.
well, so when we had Justin record, we had him do a occasional adult language that I've never had to use, but maybe this week will be the week.
Sorry, kids. Sorry, kids.
Yeah, I also was not wearing contacts last night, so I couldn't see. And so I was just
Oh
seeing
my
like
God.
blurs of lines shooting by my face.
So is it your number one?
Drum roll.
Because
I
because your number one was Maverick. I remember you saying that.
yeah,
So
I
this
think
is like Maverick, but I think on steroids.
I think I can put it above Maverick. I think it wins for now.
Yes.
So
See?
Kyle's future top 3: Velocicoaster, Black Coaster, Maverick.
Yeah, honestly.
I think
no,
I
that
have
is
an insight of what Maya's new number 1 will be whenever she rides that.
it's such a solid night ride. Like I did not expect it to be as good as it was.
Yes. I think my favorite thing like for the night ride is like when you get up to the very top, that top hat, and you like can just see the park and it's just all dark and
Oh,
just,
yeah.
like, and then you've got the lights from the train and everything, and it's just and then you go, oh yeah, it's just bliss. It's pure bliss.
Yeah, I will say one thing I thought was kind of strange was when we got in line, they said the front row and back row is closed for the night. They said you can still ride there, but we're not going to honor requests to ride there
Okay.
because they were trying to clear the line, which I understood. I just
Yeah.
thought it was weird.
Yeah, they're not usually like at Cedar Point. You're like, you could get in line for it, but like,
I was gonna say a little Easter egg when you're waiting in the queue, like the giant screen that you see
Yep.
that they're talking a little bit about the like the rules and they're talking about the ride. During night, they actually have a night shot So during the day, you'll see it daytime, and then the night is
Yes.
night shot.
And Dean pointed out when you're in that last room before the station where Claire is talking and
Yes.
Owen Grade's like, "This is a bad idea."
Yeah.
That is night 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Because you could see the coaster running at night, and then during the day when it's
Mm.
light out or whatever. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
I
kind
have
of cool.
never. I'm the last one that needs to ride that, so I have no idea what in the world you're talking about.
You've got a pillow and a bed waiting for you at Kyle's place. So.
I know.
Yeah. So yesterday, me and Dean were, sitting on the couch after a hard day of being Floridians, and I leaned over and I said, "Do you want to go do Velocicoaster at night? Like, it's 9 o'clock. Park's open until 10. We can make it in 20 minutes." So we hustled over there and we did Spider-Man and
Love Spider-Man.
I love Spider-Man too, but it was not that great last night. We
It
made
probably needs
through-
it probably needs its normally you can tell when like the rides need like the refresh or not refresh, but like the
Refurbishment.
their refurbishment, because then once they come out of refurbishment, they're like spot on again.
Well, it wasn't that like any props or effects were broken, but we had an out of sync ride.
Oh,
We made it through the first scene and then we pulled in to the second scene where it's like, "Dr. Octopus, everything's going as planned."
yeah,
and
yeah.
The video stopped and like how when you used to watch a DVD and there'd be a scratch and it would stop and skip a little bit?
Yeah.
It did that. And then the dialogue.
I mean, that ride's old enough. It's probably running on DVD.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it did that, and then the dialogue stopped, but the music kept playing, and then it took almost to where the little fire effect goes off before it synced itself back up again.
Wow.
Oops.
Oh.
Still good though. But yeah, I have been here officially for a week now. Today is 1 week.
Wow. And you're coming back to Ohio.
I'll get back to you on that one.
Oh,
I still haven't been to all the parks here yet.
I love it.
Jeez.
I love it.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
so we talked about Velocicoaster. Now about
Yeah, so
the other one.
a little precursor. I have had a Universal Pass for like 5 years now, a little more than 5 years.
Yeah.
I had a Disney Pass back in the day, but I let it lapse during COVID. And as you know, they're not selling to out of state people right now. So
So you moved to Florida.
so that's what I had to do. Yeah. We went to Disney Springs on Wednesday night and I pulled up and I'm like, okay, what do I have to show to get like the lowest level pass that you're actually selling? And they said, we either need to see like a utility statement or a driver's license. Those are the only two forms of ID that we accept. So I showed them my electric bill and they set me up $200 down payment and then $17 a month.
It's not
And
bad at all.
Not bad.
No, I can go Monday. I can't go weekends, but I
Okay.
can do during the week. I can park hop. I get free parking, the standard 20% off merchandise.
And is that $17 just till you decide you don't want it anymore?
No, that is only for 12 months. And then at the end of 12 months, if I want to do it again, I have to do the down payment again.
So it's a $200 pass, basically.
Well,
I mean,
I mean, $200.
Because I mean,
right.
to me,
and then you've
like
gotta
when you
spend
spread that
$17
$17 out a month, I mean, you and I are doing it with Six Flags. Well, actually, yours is a lot cheaper than mine, but
Yeah, but no, but you have to pay the $200 every single year, and then you got to pay the 17 on top of that every.
yeah,
single
but
Well,
I don't know. That
I mean,
doesn't.
you
seem
can
like-
also-
Not bad.
you can also pay it in full. Just I didn't want to do that because there's no interest or anything on it. It's the same price.
Yeah.
Split it up or pay it in full.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
that's awesome.
I put that to the test on Friday and I went over to Epcot because I hadn't been to Epcot since before the pandemic, like 2019.
Mhm.
And they just opened Guardians.
Mhm.
So I've been pretty blind. I go in and I know first of all, the queue is phenomenal. Like one of the best queues that Disney's ever done. There's 2 different pre-shows. All of the little like queue videos and everything are really cool. And then there's 6 songs that they'll rotate you through. Everybody Wants to Rule the World, September, Conga, Disco Inferno. And there's 2 more I'm forgetting. Anyway, I got Disco Inferno, so that was cool because that's part of the Cedar Point show. That's
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty cool. But like the ride itself is just so good. It's so buttery smooth, like you were saying, Evan, with the new Vacomas. Like
Yeah.
it
I
was
mean,
so
no rattle, no nothing.
yeah. I didn't even get like tossed around transitioning between elements.
Nope.
I'm curious to see what happens when they age, if they'll be rattly or,
Well, the one at Energylandia, the older one, it's named Formula, that was built, I think, 2014 or 2015. So I mean,
It was-
it's old enough. It's old enough to be old
True. Yeah.
as far as maintenance goes. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good to know.
But yeah, it was a really fun ride. The have you guys heard about people like getting sick on this thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't really know much
I-
about why though.
I think I figured it out where they point you at where it's kind of like, and I mean, I know you haven't done this, but Carson's kind of like Gringotts where they point you at where they want you to look.
Okay.
It's not spinning like Exterminator at Kennywood where it's just an unlocked spin. They
Mhm.
just kind of rotate you. I think how people are getting sick is they keep looking around or looking places other than they're being pointed at.
Oh, that could do
Because
it.
I tried that for a little bit of the ride just to see if it would screw with me, and it did a little bit. And then there's one scene at the end where you're facing, it's a helix, but you're facing in the helix, like you're facing the inside of it. And it's pretty intense. And I think that's what gets a lot of people.
Interesting.
I didn't have a problem. No one on my train had a problem. So I don't know if people are just drinking around the world and then going on this thing and throwing up everywhere.
Yeah, probably not a great idea.
But,
Yeah.
Maybe Epcot wasn't the right park for this.
yeah. But no, super solid ride. One of the best rides Disney has right now, honestly. So
Now,
yeah,
is it? Now I've heard people say that's the best coaster on Disney property.
I would agree with that.
Okay. Okay.
The launch is actually pretty damn intense.
There's a launch. I know next to nothing about this ride.
Yeah, so they take you in, you start and you go up a little lift hill. And then it's just flat. You're going through show scenes.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then the big, like, I'm not going to spoil it, but like the big climactic part of the ride, you launch backwards.
Oh,
Ooh,
And
okay.
it's really intense.
And they probably got like 30 trains because they're Disney. Like,
Yeah, it's a dual load, dual unload. I don't know how many trains they're running, but I will say it was to the point where you would come in and sit down, and 20 seconds after everybody sat down, they would dispatch, and another one would come in immediately.
yeah,
So probably quite a bit.
pretty well-oiled machine, sure.
Yeah, it was running really well, no breakdowns, nothing like that. So all good reviews for me.
sweet.
So I went to Epcot was my first park, and then we went to Islands. So that was Friday. Epcot was Friday. And then we went to Islands last night. And then I went to Hollywood Studios today. And
Rise of the Resistance.
I did Tower of Terror, Rise of the Resistance, Rock and Roller Coaster, and the new one, the new trackless one, Runaway Railway.
Hmm.
I always forget about that ride. That one gets really good reviews too.
That was pretty cool. My only gripe with it is apparently I missed a scene. I rode with one of my friends who's down here right now, who has been on it a lot.
Okay.
Mhm.
And basically, with it being trackless and the way the cars shuffle, where you start, like in line in the ride, there's 8 cars. Where you start is not where you end.
Mhm.
So we started in row 8 and ended in like row 3. But apparently, because we were so far back, there was a whole scene that was like over before we got there. So he says I was robbed. I don't know if I'd put it that far, but
Well, you live there, so you could just go back.
Oh, I was
tomorrow
gonna
if
say you
want.
could just be like, well, let's go back tomorrow.
yeah. Well, I am going to a Disney park tomorrow, but it's not Epcot or Hollywood Studios.
Animal Kingdom.
We called
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Well, there's content for Friday.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
We got
just.
plenty of stuff to talk about for Friday. by the
Oh
way.
yeah, I'm just in that spot where I'm not trying to burn myself out, but I am gonna take advantage of living close to all these parks now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just go there and ride a couple rides, eat some dinner, if even that.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not like at Cedar Point where you got to be like, oh, I'm here. I'm going to stay the whole entire time until it closes. You know,
Right.
That's what I've been doing. Epcot was I got there at 10 a.m. and I left at 2.
yeah,
Universal was for the last hour, and then Hollywood Studios today was like, I got there at 10 and left at 3. So
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing.
That's awesome.
for
But yeah,
sure.
we got here last Monday, right about at like 9 o'clock at night, went over to the Polynesian and watched the fireworks. And then we moved in on Tuesday, and it was really, 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 really fucking hot.
Welcome to the
our-
Florida heat.
This is like the rundown on fun after dark. Like,
Yeah,
It is after dark. It's 12:43.
dude, I have to be at work in literally like 6 hours.
I have to get up at 6:50 because I promised someone I would get us Guardians reservations for the morning.
See, that's the problem you're gonna run into opening your apartment up to people.
Yeah.
So just plan like
but-
sometime, I think in like November to be doing this again with me and Maya.
Okay. Yeah, I can.
That's kind of what we're shooting for right now. We'll
Okay.
see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
sounds good.
Maybe
We
early December.
Yeah, we got here Monday, and our apartment is super nice. I need to send you guys pictures, by the way. But
Mm.
we're only the second people to ever live in this unit. It's a brand new building. It's like the brand new apartment complex in general. But we live on the second floor, and there's no elevators.
oh,
So that was not fun moving stuff in.
See, okay, when I moved into my apartment that I'm currently in, we're on the 3rd floor, and there's like 2 elevators in the building, and it's moving day for a college apartment complex. So
Yeah.
there's like 10,000 kids in line for the elevator. I'm like, screw that. And my apartment's right next to the stairwell, but it was the 3rd floor. So I know your pain. And I'm
Yeah,
moving this weekend to another apartment that's on the 3rd floor at a different complex. So I gotta move all my crap down, and then 2 weeks later, when the lease term starts, I gotta move all my crap up another 3rd floor.
Yeah, I remember yours, Evan, and ours is not like yours in the sense where it opens in. Our doors open to the outside.
Yeah, which I'm very jealous
So
of.
we just had to go up one set of straight stairs. So it really wasn't that bad. And we had 6 people moving shit in.
yeah.
It was supposed to rain that day at 2. We didn't start moving until 11. So our philosophy was, let's just get everything inside and we'll deal with it later.
Yeah, that's the right way to do it.
Yeah, I think we're still throwing away cardboard, but we're
Moving tips with the rundown on fun.
yeah.
we're mostly settled. I love it so far. It hasn't been too insanely hot.
Well,
I can't wait for
it
to
has
get
been everywhere else in the
hot,
world.
And Kyle's like, I just want to go home.
I just want to jump in Lake Erie. Well,
it's
that's when
been
he'll just go to Typhoon Lagoon or Blizzard Beach or Volcano Bay or
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
It's been in the
good.
mid 80s all week, like mid 80s with relatively low humidity. It's been pretty nice.
It's been horrible up here for the past week and a half.
Today was nice.
Today was the very first day.
Yeah, that's why we're recording so late. Me and Carson were at the park tonight because
Yeah, I was gonna ask. You two went to the park today, didn't you?
we sure
Yep.
did.
it was good.
Good. It was your
I caught a
return trip.
t-shirt.
Ooh, you caught a t-shirt.
I did. I totally picked a kid off. Like
When we went for our little going away party last week or the week before or whatever, Carson nabbed Dean a t-shirt.
I did. I was just
I
like,
was-
boom.
I felt so
Oh,
cool.
got
I felt so cool. Even though I probably
Yeah,
robbed like a
the adrenaline
12-year-old
rush.
kid of getting a t-shirt, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's
Well,
fun.
I sound like a real jerk right now.
Well, it wasn't like a little kid. It was like a teenager.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? It's fine.
So Carson, we talked about what me and Evan did, and it sounds like you have a trip coming up this weekend or
Yeah.
this
So
weekend.
I haven't like, gone to any parks or I haven't moved or anything. I've just been at Cedar Point, been watching
Kennywood.
That I talked about that.
Kings
was all
Island.
done. That's done for. But no, obviously I've been watching the park and stuff, with the new construction that's going on in the beach and whatever, and maybe some stuff around Dragster area, question mark. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'd
We'll talk
post some
that
pictures
Friday.
about it tonight. We can talk about that on Friday, yeah. But no, yeah. So this weekend, I'm going to. Well, actually, I shouldn't say this weekend. But anyway, going
Literally
to
like hours from now.
Six Flags, Great Adventure. Never been. I'm excited.
Woo!
I told
You're
Evan,
gonna
I'm
love
like,
that park.
I told
Yup.
Evan, I'm like, I don't know what the parachute ride's called, but I've seen it in pictures, and I really, really, really want to ride that ride. So I think it's gonna be really cool. And then there's King Dakar,
El
King
Toro.
El Toro.
El Toro.
The wooden version of Hyperion.
Yeah, there's that.
And Nitro.
Also, I'm really
Jersey
kind of excited.
Devil.
We're going to American Dream Mall in New Jersey because we're kind of afraid that they might close and
Yeah, good luck.
they might not be open for too much longer because I think they're having issues paying their bills, is what I
Dude,
heard.
I'm pretty sure their top 2 coasters are closed right now.
Well,
Good thing it's
at
paid
least-
per ride now.
at least they have that, and also I'm gonna enjoy go and enjoy check out the water park, maybe do the water park, maybe, I'm not sure. And then
Forgot they have Orlando's
they've
water
got a Toys R Us, like a full-fledged brand new like Toys R Us that they built there.
park. Screw the theme park. Go there.
I'm gonna yeah, right. So we're gonna do stuff of that. Coney Island, we might do DeGrosso's, we might do Knoebels. I've never been to Knoebels either.
Oh my
So-
God, you are not an enthusiast.
Thanks, buddy.
He's
Yeah.
not an enthusiast. He's a Cedar Point guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's called CP Rundown. I'm not, I'm the everything.
It's
rundown.
it's CP rundown, not like AP rundown, amusement park rundown.
Ooh, there you go. There's a new name for us. But yeah, so I mean, I've got 269 credits. So I mean, by the time this trip is over, I'm
From
about to be
where?
300. I don't know. And then by the time this trip is done, and then I've got another trip planned for Indiana Beach because I've never been there either. I'm probably
I
gonna-
hope they get that loop ride open for you because
I know. I want a one and done. Like I don't really want a one and done the park because I think the park looks really cool. It kind of reminds me of like an old school like Jogga Lake-ish, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it's got the
You know,
lake and
honestly, if we pushed it, we could probably day trip that park if we really pushed it.
Oh, I push it. I mean, I've day tripped Carowinds before.
Yeah, that's
Literally,
damn.
we literally left at like 3 or 4 in the morning. Got there by like open. Did the early entry or whatever they have going on there, and then closed the park at like 10 o'clock, and then drove all the way back home and got home at pretty much like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
you're insane.
Yeah, that's sometimes how you got to do it.
Yeah.
Oh
Well, I'm
my
excited for you, man. Great Adventure is such a good park.
Yeah, I'm super excited because like I just gave such a glowing review, and I hope maybe you back me up on it. Jersey Devil's sweet.
I'm excited. I've never been on a single rail, so that'll be a brand new experience for me.
Try
And then I
it
get to
once to
ride,
get
obviously, King Dakar will be over there too, so that'll be cool. So it'll be like,
Me.
I'll just pretend, I'll close my eyes and be like, Dragster.
Arms down, head back, and hold it. They actually, you know what? I think they do say something very,
They do.
very.
Oh, you better believe when I ride that ride, I'll be like, keep arms down, head
Are you
back.
gonna play the song?
hold on.
Are you gonna play the song? Like
No,
have it blasting in your
I won't.
pocket?
I won't play the song.
Why? It's Dragster.
I don't know. Maybe I will. Who knows? But no one's gonna hear it except for me. But I want like everybody to hear my voice. So,
Yeah, you know.
baby, I'm ready to go.
Oh,
So
yeah.
are you
Shout
leaving? Are you
it
leaving
out.
tomorrow?
Yeah.
Or today, technically, I guess.
Yeah, we need to go to bed.
Yeah, we need to. I was transitioning towards that.
Yeah.
I've literally, before last night's slumber, I had been up for like basically like 24 hours traveling back from Poland,
Welcome
and
to
I'm
my
still-
world. I do that all the time.
Shut up.
Well,
You weren't on a
And,
plane for 10 hours.
I've been on a plane for 19 before.
Ugh, I would die. I would die.
yeah, and we do apologize for being a little less reliable in the past couple weeks. It's just with Evan and
Everything
Poland,
has
and
just been crazy.
yeah, me moving across country, it's just not been ideal
Well,
conditions.
plus you're the guy that like sets everything up, and if your setup's not like going, it's kind of hard for us to record. So
Yeah.
Yeah, after
But I think
Wednesday, my setup will be good. So when you get
Good.
back from your trip, we'll be good.
ready to
so. We're gonna
go.
record Friday, and then we'll probably get back to mostly Thursdays.
Probably.
And probably
that seems-
we'll get a pretty set schedule here because I think we like going to the park on Fridays. So we'll say Thursdays.
But we definitely love you guys that are listening. Our followers have continued to go up. So if you like listening to us,
Spread the
recommend us
word.
yeah, spread the word. Tell tell one of your friends, or share it on whatever you use, Facebook, MySpace.
I feel like we need to be better about sharing it on our personal Facebooks. I think we all did like at the beginning and just kind of
Mhm.
stopped.
we could do that.
Yeah, we need to start that back up here, but it's time to end another episode. And again, we thank you for bearing with us.
Mhm. This is my first episode
all
with the outro music, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
nice.
I like it.
It's fancy. It's fancy.
Yeah.
Right.
We will be back later in the week, and we will be back to all of the stuff that you've come to know and love from us.
Lots
Park
of Cedar
news.
Point news is coming.
Lots of Cedar Point news. I can't wait.
Mhm.
Lots.
Yes,
Good
sir.
night, everybody.
Good
Good
night,
night.
guys.